and I would like to introduce the other members of the panel, starting off with Madam Nomfundo Maseti, who is the full-time regulator member primarily responsible for pipe gas regulation, as well as the chairperson of the pipe gas subcommittee. Madam Maseti.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to the attendees and the presenters. Chairperson, I won't be able to activate my camera due to the reasons stated earlier. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to proceed and introduce Advocate Nomalanga Stole, who's the Chief Executive Officer of NERSA, as well as the member of the Pipe Gas Subcommittee.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, members and everyone on this platform. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
I also have Mr. Tembani Pugula, who's the NERSA Chairperson and member of the Pipe Gas Subcommittee.
Chairperson, and good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Also have Madam Zandile Mpungose, who is the Deputy Chairperson of NERSA, as well as a member of the Pipe Gas Subcommittee.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the presenters and all the attendees. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm not so sure if Mr. Kumeda is in, but we'll then proceed. All attendees, please note that this public hearing was duly advertised in the following newspapers. The print nationally was the Star on the 4th of August 2023, Cape Times on the 4th of August 2023, the Mercury also on the 4th of August 2023, Business Day on the 4th of August 2023, as well as the BELT on the 7th of August 2023. It was also posted on our website, and it is held in accordance with the Energy Regulator Act, in which affected parties are given an opportunity to submit their views and present relevant facts and evidence to the energy regulator. The hearing is governed by the NERSA rules on public hearings, which can be summarized as follows. All parties will be required to make their presentations under oath. The public hearing will be set down according to the applications submitted by SLG and CNG. SLG and CNG have requested to make a joint presentation, and they have been allocated 30 minutes to make their presentation. Only members of the panel may ask questions to the presenters. However, members of the public may forward their questions to Eliezer Dlamini, the Secretary of the PGS, to the email eliezer.dlamini@nersa.org.za, which will also be posted on the meeting chat, and the panel will then decide on how to deal with those questions. Should presenters wish to present information they consider confidential, the panel will make a ruling on whether to close the hearing or to have the information submitted in writing. The recording of this hearing will be done through our recording system and will also be a live audio streaming on NERSA's Twitter page, which is at NERSA_ZA. This will be the official record of this meeting. The house rules for this meeting are: please switch all your cell phones to silent mode or totally off, so that you don't disturb the proceedings of this public hearing. Please ensure that your mic and video are switched off at all times, unless you are making a presentation. Please use the chat responsibly to contribute to a meaningful discussions through the public hearing session. Having said that, I would then confirm that we have the following presenters to today's public hearing. Mr. Mzi Chokolo will be presenting Springlight Gas Pty Ltd. Will be representing Springlight Gas Pty Ltd. And Madam Shannon Ajon will be representing SLCNG. With that, I would like Mr. Mzi Chokolo as well as Madam Shannon to come forth so that we can show you in, and we may then proceed to make the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We're both in the same boardroom side by side.
Thank you. Do you have any reservations in taking an oath?
We don't, Chair.
Thank you. Please then raise your hand and affirm the following. Do you solemnly declare that the evidence you are going to give this panel is the truth and the whole truth?
I do indeed.
I do as well, Chair.
Thank you. Let me then go to Mr. Chokolo. If you may just please state your name and the company and your designation therein.
My name is Mzi Chokolo. I am the CEO of SLG Group.
Thank you. Over and then from your side, Madam Shannon Aljon, if you may just state your name, your company and your designation therein.
My name is Shannon Aljon. I am the business analyst of the SLG Group. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me hand over to you. Then we'll give you the 30 minutes and what you have to do is just to present, and thereafter we'll pose a set of questions which you then have to respond to. So please get your pen and paper ready for you to be able to then note down the questions after you have made your presentation. So from now, over to you, sir and madam.
Thank you, Chair. We appreciate the time and opportunity given to us by the regulator to present very briefly our submissions in terms of the maximum price methodology and regulatory framework. Chair, my role in today's presentation is really that of setting the scene for SLG's presentation and giving a few opening remarks. Firstly, one of those opening remarks is the fact that we both come online to do the joint presentation on the two applications that were submitted to the regulator, in other words, SLG and SLCNG's applications. And as such, as the Chair had intimated earlier, that I will be representing SLG and Ms. Arjun will be representing SLCNG. It's just a small minor sort of correction in that regard. And secondly, Chair, speaking of our applications, the context thereof is one where I just wanted to reiterate a point and a view, and that view is that SLG and its subsidiaries are always approaching the regulatory framework from a spirit of compliance and cooperation with regards to the prevailing framework that is put forth for the market to follow, both in the context of applying for maximum prices or construction licenses or any other prerequisites that we as traders are obliged to abide by in the context and the course of our business. So therefore, as we then do this presentation, it is really to clarify our stance in our application, and I wanted, so the detail thereof will then be shared by Mr. June as she presents. But the context is very important for us to really just share with the regulator that where there are questions around our application, it really needs to be seen in the context of interpreting our context, which is my second point. Our context is one that is pre-existing. In other words, there's an existing business context, there's existing operations, there's existing customers, there was existing pricing mechanisms and methodologies. And the new methodology effectively had to exist within that context. So where information didn't exist at first when we were submitting our application, we did reference what was pre-existing information and our knowledge of the market. So some of the questions and our answers there too should be seen and interpreted in that context. And then finally, Chair, I just wanted to perhaps reiterate another point that us as traders in the gas market are by and large price takers. And in a cost-plus methodology, it is extremely important to always remember that the very basis of our own application is where we have clarity on what our costs are going to be in order for us to be able to present a sound and complete framework in our own applications. Because we can't create a world which, when the reality comes through, is different in the context that we can't work out or imagine prices that we say prefer and the reality of those prices becomes a different matter altogether, which we will have to live with. And therefore, in the same breath, our tolerance, our ability to, I'm going to say, carry costs that we can't live with is very limited in that we are really subject to what our cost regime is. So in that regard, Chair, that will be the conclusion of my opening remarks. And here, from here, I'd like to hand over to Ms. Arjun to really present the detail of SLG's very summarized presentation with regards to a response to some of the queries that were raised pertaining to our application. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chokolo.
Thank you.
So question 4 on page 14 of the consultation document on the preliminary assessment of SLG's maximum price of gas, NERSA requested stakeholders to comment on the appropriateness of SLG's use of the Sasol gas maximum price as its cost of gas. We wish to provide clarity on this. From FY22, Sasol had charged traders and end-user customers at its approved maximum price of gas, with no discounts and no differentiation granted to traders and resellers. Therefore, Sasol's approved maximum price of gas was SLG's actual acquisition cost. And as per Sasol Gas's amendment application for the approval of maximum gas prices for FY23, Sasol Gas stated that they did not agree with the minimum 5% resellers discount. SLG's maximum price application was therefore based on the approved Sasol Gas maximum price becoming SLG's actual acquisition cost. Sasol Gas thereafter acceded to the 5% resellers discount in its presentation at the public hearing held on 29th August 2023. So we just wish to reiterate and to confirm and clarify that the actual cost of gas charged to SLG by Sasol Gas will be used in the calculation to determine the maximum price of gas to SLG's customers. The second point we wish to clarify is our rationale for the request of our monthly adjustment period instead of an annual adjustment period. Paragraph 7.14 of the consultation document on the preliminary assessment of SLG's maximum price of gas states, it must be indicated that in terms of NERSA's methodology, the frequency of adjustment is annually. Any variances between the forecast and actuals can be corrected through the clawback adjustment mechanism provided by the methodology. Paragraph 4 of the 2023 methodology states that in cases where the cost of the licensee change more frequently, a licensee may change its cost of gas in the maximum price formula to adjust the maximum price. So paragraph 7.14 of the consultation document therefore conflicts with the methodology. Now we wish to discuss the clawback mechanism for cost of gas. There is no clawback mechanism for cost of gas in the 2023 methodology. Guidelines for a clawback or a giveback are contained in section 4.9 of the 2017 guidelines for monitoring and improving piped gas transmission and storage tariffs in South Africa. Per these tariff guidelines, a clawback or giveback is only permitted for the following assumptions in the trading cost formula. And those assumptions are on volumes, regulated asset base, operating and maintenance expenses, return on capital, and calculation errors. There is therefore also no clawback mechanism for the cost of gas provided for in the tariff guidelines. SLG has two sources of gas, being Sasol Gas and Kwande Gas. Sasol Gas has applied for a quarterly adjustment to its maximum price aligning to the frequency of price adjustments on the underlying contractual costs. This will impact SLG's acquisition cost quarterly and forms the basis for SLG's request for a more frequent adjustment period. The acquisition cost of the Kwande source gas in rands adjusts monthly and that's due to the impact of the rand-dollar exchange rate. In the absence of an existing clawback mechanism on cost of gas, SLG applied for a maximum price of gas that would adjust monthly based on its actual acquisition cost in rands. Thank you, Chair. Those are the only items we wished to highlight in our presentation.
Thank you very much. That was very brief and to the point, much appreciated. I would like then to give members an opportunity to ask questions, if any, if you may just get your pen and paper and just be ready to jot them down. Members, by show of hands, any of you want to pose questions to the presenters? I don't see any hands in terms of what is put forward. Maybe, oh, I see a hand from Mr. Pukula. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chair. I just want some clarity on slide number 4 around the conflict with the methodology. I know that the presenter mentioned paragraph 4, but I was trying to read, and I want to have the same understanding as the presenter of this conflict, if she could just expand on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pukula. In the absence of any other hand, I would just like to from my side, just to ask one question, because in terms of the time frame that you are proposing, you put forth a month as a time frame of adjustment. A different time frame, maybe a bit longer time frame, would noting the need for stability and the fact that there are suppliers upstream and clients downstream. Would you be amenable to that with reasons? Of course, just wanted to understand that portion. That is all really from my side. You may respond then.
Thank you, Chair. I will respond on the first question. So the consultation document that was issued by NERSA on the preliminary assessment of SLG's maximum price of gas, it stated that in terms of NERSA's methodology, and by that we assume NERSA's 2023 methodology to approve maximum prices of piped gas, the frequency of adjustment is annual, and any variances between forecast and actuals can be corrected through the clawback adjustment mechanism. However, when we referred to the 2023 methodology, paragraph 4 of that methodology states that in cases where cost of the licensee change more frequently, a licensee may change its cost of gas in the maximum price formula to adjust the maximum price. So our understanding is that there's a conflict between the consultation document, where it states that the frequency of adjustment is limited to an annual adjustment, whereas paragraph 4 of the methodology states that a more frequent adjustment period may be allowed where a licensee's costs change more frequently. Thank you, Chair.
And just perhaps in conclusion, in addition, where we are faced with a choice, I mean, the methodology is the approved framework for all intents, and therefore one then effectively chooses that as a mechanism to follow rather than a consultation document, which in our understanding is also a document that seeks to facilitate discussion. Chair. Thank you. And Chair, the second, if I may perhaps respond to the Chair's question pertaining to our amenability to perhaps bringing a bit more stability to the market. I think in response to that, one has to go back to the context that one of the key roles traders play is to try and smooth the context of supply and both upstream and downstream. So if one considers that the monthly frequency is really on the back of a very fluctuating rand exchange rate and the fact that we procure gas, which is priced actually in dollars, but we settle it in rands due to and of course that is where the exchange rate impact comes in, and trying to manage that is where the proposal for a month adjustment comes from. But that juxtaposed with the fact that the complement of gas or the quantity of gas we procure in that or through that mechanism is substantially less than the gas that is in rands and would adjust quarterly in line with the Sasol gases adjustment. Chair, in simple terms, one would be amenable to perhaps, let's call it on a worst case scenario, a quarterly adjustment of the maximum price, or at least SLG's maximum price, in order to, and of course absorb for that quarter the impact of the exchange rate, because that certainly is the one thing we were trying to ameliorate with the monthly adjustment, Chair. But certainly amenability is something that we will be to on a quarterly adjustment.
Thank you very much for your responses. From my side, I think that it will help that if there is any additional information that you seek you may provide to NERSA, that you do so within the next 7 days, just to kind of augment what you have put forth in your presentation, and I would implore you that please, as you put forth your arguments, please consider counter arguments, preempt questions that will come from other quarters in view of the fact that whilst looking at your application, at you as an entity, we must look at your sustainability, and at the same time consider a public good, consider your customers as well. So that thinking, if you already craft any submission with that in mind, it will actually help the process going forward. With that, I don't have any other thing to add, save to say we're looking forward to receiving those documents from your side. I hope that is fine with you, Mr. Jogolo and Madam Aljun.
We're fine indeed, Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. This then brings us to the end of this public hearing, in view that we had you yourselves only as the presenters, and we were thankful that you have, over and above lodging an application, you have made time to present, and therefore assisting us as the regulator to gain more insight in terms of your applications and the challenges that you are facing as a licensing. Thank you very much. We appreciate that, and whilst the application is also on the go, we take it that your technical teams will be engaging with our technical team so that you can be able to assist in terms of getting whatever information, so that there is no information gap. So from our side, thank you very much. This then brings us to the end of this public hearing. The public hearing stands adjourned. Thanks a lot to all of you members of the panel, as well as management and staff of NERSA. Have a blessed day further.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, members.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.